Hi, Ron here. Today's the 15th of December, and it's a good day to take a look at some sandbars. And let's see what we have. Well, remember, this was good old MTG. I've been sitting on long position on this guy for a while. Gave a nice fat buy signal over here. Okay, well, one of the things that happened was, show you the intraday, looking at the bottom here. The bottom is really good illustrator. As you may recall in finding the sandbars, you're looking at using prior min zero pivots. So unless you have a min zero pivot, you're going to ignore it. But you have the flexibility for the the AML BC. For BC, you've got to use the last two. But for the A, you can go back and use any one of these guys, right? And so as a result, let's take a look. Okay. Now, had I drawn, one of the things that I look for is the time element, and that's discussed in the primary video. And so we had the time element in here, even though we had an SB1, that we still had the time element, and that was really nice. Had we used this point here, or these two here are equal. See, 58's the high and 58's the high. And had we used any of the other points, what would have happened was we would have not had the proper time element. So that's kind of important. Just for grins, I'm going to take a look and see if this also qualified down here. As you know, I make these things here on the fly. Oh, for joy. Okay, well, let's see. Wait a minute. We got to see if we have the time element. Abso-friggin-lutely. So that's kind of neat. Okay, so we have that. Now let's take a look at another thing. Yeah, this is a chart I sent out this morning, and those of you that know what I'm looking at know that I have an SB2 here, but it's not confirmed. So these are the ones I'm looking at. I have an SB2 at this point, and totally not confirmed. And let's see what the time is here, the 15th. So we still have time for this to be confirmed. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Here's a good one. Okay, if we look at, it's going to get a little tricky, but that's why I'm doing this video, to take a look at some of the tricky stuff. Okay, if we look at this guy here, we can say, oh, look at this. We've had an SB2, right? And you did up to here, and only one little problem. We can't use those days. And we can't because there's no min zero in here. Okay, it's your only pivot. It's high, and otherwise no min zeros. Okay, so much for that. Let's look for something else. Ones that are always interesting to keep an eye on for if I can ever find them. Ones that are interesting to keep an eye on for a reversal are the ones that I can't find. So I'll have to type them in. Here they are. Here we go. This is a good one to keep an eye on for reversal. So here we go. Here we have the daily, we have the euro. Okay, and with these we got to use 24 hours. So here we have 1, 2, 3, but it's not confirmed, so we can leave it alone, huh? Okay, so much for that. Good. So this was your quickie update on sandbars. And you got to remember that these guys don't come along all that often, but when they do, they're incredibly useful. And personally, I like to combine them with other course indicators. And and okay, what do I mean? Well, let's see if I can show you exactly. Okay. So remember, we had one here, right? Well, anyway, you get the idea, right? Just absolutely beautiful to an R2P. Okay, and then nope, that didn't show. But we also had an ORE down here. Those of you that want to take a quick look at that. Okay, and remember, for your ORE, you really get better results when you use at least min 0 points. I tried using some of this intraday hourly patterns, and boom, it didn't work out. So, but using min 0 points is a lot nicer. Like, remember we had an ORE here, and of course here we were easily able to use the min 0 points. Okay, so whereas finding one down here is not so good. Okay, so that's what you need to know. Anyway, I guess that's it for now, and Ron signing off here. See you next time.